Flyers, touchdown Loyola. Passing on the carry.
Stuff like that is
Pass completed to Taylor. Touchdown Flyers, Taylor on the reception. Touchdown Loyola, Taylor on the reception. Tape on the carry for the Tigers, game about. On the play, Loyola recovers.
Into the end zone. Touchdown, Flyers.
Flyer football on LCP TV. My name is David Winkler, and tonight I'm again joined by John Carmody. Art Carmody will be on the sideline for us one more time as the Flyers, John, welcome in the Bossier Bearcats for a District 1 3A game that'll decide at least a share of the early District 1 3A lead. The Bearcats come in at 5-1, John. They did lose their last game to North Webster, which was their first district game. The Flyers are also 5-1, coming off a win last week on the road at Green Oaks, setting up a great early season battle, John, for District 1 3A supremacy. The Flyers welcomed back Reese Ebar last week, which was a big difference maker for them. But tonight, they're going to meet another great running team in the Bearcats, led by James Davis and DeCameron Richardson. So, John, the Flyers have faced two teams that really want to kind of throw it all over the park in their last couple of games. And tonight, they're going to face a team that really wants to run it right down their throat. What's going to be the difference tonight for the Flyer defense if the Flyers want to come away with a victory in this game?
Well, one of the things, if you watch Bossier play, they like to throw a lot of formations at you. They like to do unbalanced lines. They like to line up with a wing offense. They do a lot of motion. And so the whole idea is to constantly keep the defense on its heels, making them think about a lot of things. Of course, the coaches have seen the film. They know these different formations. It's about making sure that the kids know where they're supposed to be for every one of those formations. The good thing about it is we've seen all year long the front seven have been great for the Flyers. And so this is going to be strength versus strength. Bossier's running game is really powerful. Loyola's defense, its front seven, has been very good all year long. So it's going to be which one of those two things is going to break.
All right, John, it's going to be an exciting game here in Mesmer Stadium. Come right back. But first, here are the starting lineups for your Loyola Flyers. Beautiful rendition of the national anthem by Graham Montgomery. And John, you ready for some football?
You know, we talk about this a lot at the opening telecast. What a beautiful experience it is to be out here. If you have not come out to Mesmer Stadium, this is really a treat to be out here. Out on the, nestled up next to Clyde Fan Parkway. It's a beautiful night out here. The sun's about to go down. And it really, great place to be. We hope you're listening and enjoying the telecast, but, if you ever have an opportunity, this is a great place to come watch a football game.
And as we've said before, you can actually enjoy our telecast and still be here in Mesmer Stadium. You can just pull us up on your smart device, plug your earphones in or your earbuds, and listen away. It's a great way to watch the game from here inside Mesmer Stadium. So the Flyer captains meet the Bearcat captains out at midfield. Game time temp, 67 degrees. Not a cloud in the sky, as you said, John. Wind out of the east at 5 miles an hour. So the elements are perfect for high school football tonight, John.
To the Hall of Honor in 1996. Michael was the starting center of the 1976 state championship team that went 14-0. And he was named
John, the Bearcats enjoying a real resurgent season at 5-1. It's their best start in nearly 20 years. They hadn't won 4 games in a row for 15 years when they hit that landmark earlier in the season. So the Bearcats are riding high as they arrive here in Mesmer Stadium, despite their first loss, which came last week, as we discussed in the pregame. But they gave North Webster all they wanted. DeCameron Richardson with 2 pick sixes in the fourth quarter that actually looked like they were going to give the Bearcats the win there. But North Webster was able to pull that one out and win the game. North Webster being the favorite, at least in the preseason projections, to win the district. So for Bossier to come in the way that they have, considering the last couple of years they had, I think, won 1 game combined, is pretty impressive, and the Flyers are going to have their hands full tonight. And
one of the great things about this is this is really a treat, because it doesn't matter if you graduated from St. John's, it doesn't matter if you graduated from Jesuit or Loyola before the girls got there, or after the girls got there. Loyola Bossier is a game that a lot of people circled over the years, and so it's a treat to see Bossier back in district play with Loyola, because this is the kind of game that brings back a lot of memories for a lot of people over the years.
Back deep to receive for the Flyers, number 1, A.J. Taylor, and number 5, Trey Taylor. Kicking off.
So A.J. Taylor and Trey Taylor will stand back on them about their 12, ready to receive the opening kick. The Bearcats won the toss, deferred, so the Flyers will receive here to start the football game. Rico St. Fleur set to kick it off for the Bearcats. The officials meeting at midfield with their, looks like their pregame ritual there, John. Hopefully their calls will be as good as their camaraderie there at midfield. Here we go, District 1-3A action from Mesmer Stadium. 5-1 versus 5-1. Probably the biggest game of the year so far for the Flyers. I think that's fair to say.
I don't think that's an understatement at all, David. This is a big game. This is really sets a tone for the rest of the district play.
St. Fleur, make sure his guys are ready. And here we go. Kick will be fielded by Taylor at his own 17-yard line. He's got a little bit of room. He's got one man to beat. Looks like he's going to turn the corner. He may go all the way. Touchdown, Flyers. Trey Taylor for 83 yards, and the Flyers, just like that, take the early lead.
We have talked about Trey Taylor throughout the season, about how special a kid he is, and we have seen him make that move in the lane, in the blocking lane. And he can really kind of stop on a dime and go left or right as well as you see anybody do it. And right there, the blocks are set up perfectly. And when he accelerates, it's beautiful.
Point. Nathan Lorette to hold.
Matt Monsour set to kick the extra point, and his kick is good. So like a coiled rattlesnake, John, with only 12 seconds off the clock, the Flyers strike and strike fast, and they lead it 7-0 here in the opening seconds of tonight's game. We're going to go, let's see, we're going to go down to the sideline, John? I can't tell. Nope. Actually, we're not. I think we struck so fast, John, our Carmody wasn't even ready for us.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting because Bossier has kind of an assortment of kickoffs. And Loyola played 6 guys up on that formation. And so they had 5 back, and they had A.J. Taylor and Trey Taylor as the very deep men. And so the ball kind of landed between the second and third rows. And so there looked to be a little bit of confusion, but the ball popped up perfectly for Trey. And he was able to catch it, really catch it cleanly and then go from there.
2016 when Tony Dorsey did it against Northwestern.
So Michael Mitchell, riding high off of his return team's touchdown right there, sends his kicking unit out. Monsour will handle the kicking duties as well. And the Flyers hope to have just as much success on this side of the special teams ball as they did on the other.
You know, one of the things that Coach Mitchell's done a lot is he's experimented with different kickers, and he's really gotten a lot of success out of both of them.
And they're not going to test Richardson or Davis, which is probably wise. The kick will be a shallow one that'll be fielded about the 35 and return to the 40-yard line. Looks like that was Makai Tanner on the return for the Bearcats.
That tells you something right there, David.
First and 10 at the
41-yard line. That Coach Mitchell knows that DeCameron Richardson and James Davis are really good.
That's exactly right. That's exactly what it tells you. And you know, to give the ball up at the 41-yard line versus giving those 2 guys, you know, something to do.
Quarterback number 10.
It's quite a decision.
Coleman Beeson.
So Coleman Beeson will step up to the line of scrimmage and take the first snap for the Bearcats. He's going to toss it to DeCameron Richardson. Richardson's going to be bought down at the 40-yard line. Maybe a yard, maybe not. Maybe it looks like he lost a yard. Pierce Jackson came flying in for the tackle and make it 2nd and 11.
2nd and 12.
So Bossier, you know, came to the line quickly and ran the quick pitch out there. And so it was really nice to see the safeties recognize they seen that play. Pierce Jackson came up quickly to make the play.
So Centavian Burns now in the backfield. And the handoff's going to go to James Davis. Davis is going to get it back to maybe the 42-yard line and pick up 3 yards on the carry. That'll set up a 3rd and 9. And John, if you're the Flyer defense, this is what you want. You don't want to let a running team like Bossier stay ahead of the change. You want to keep them in 3rd and long type situations where the running game's not quite as effective.
Absolutely, and that was a great play by Luke Hammer right there. They're trying to get outside, and Luke Hammer took on the lead blocker, so he couldn't get in, turn him inside.
The Bearcats get to the line in a hurry, and the Flyer defense does a great job staying disciplined and getting into their positions. It's going to be an inside handoff that time to Jamal Brooks. Brooks is going to be about 4 yards shy of a first down. He'll get it up to about the 47 of the Bearcats. And the punting unit's going to come on to the field. Jack Bodden on the stop for the Flyers. So the Flyer defense up to the test on the first series of the night for the Bearcats, 3 and out.
And again, if people watching the telecast are, you know, saying, well, why isn't Bossier throwing the ball? This is what they do. They run the football, and they run it well. So running that little inside handoff is something that's part of their game plan.
Michael Key stands on the 15 of the Flyers awaiting the St. Fleur kick, and it's a kick that goes off the side of his foot. It'll be marked out of bounds at the 27-yard line, and that's where Jacob Lafitte will lead his Flyers onto the field for the first time tonight.
1st and 10 Flyers.
And we're going to call his name for the second time tonight. Luke Hammer did a fantastic job of coming through the middle up there, and challenging the punter and avoiding getting the running into roughing the kicker, and basically forced him into a short punt.
At quarterback for the Flyers, number 9, Jacob Lafitte.
And the first handoff is going to, no, he fakes the handoff to Ebarb and gets a nice completion over the middle to Brandon Williams. Williams with 13 yards on that reception, and that's good enough for a Flyer first down.
13 to the 40. First and 10, Flyers.
So great job using Ebarb that time as a decoy, coming off his big 26 carry for 143 yards of last week. This time Ebarb is going to get it, and he fights his way up to the 44. It'll be a gain of 4 and set up a 2nd and 6.
And the Flyers are using motion right there to see what Bossier's actually going to do. Bossier's really not shifting with the motion right there. So I think the Flyers are going to have an opportunity with the motion man to come with the motion and actually have numbers on that side.
Feet looks outside to A.J. Taylor, and that one's going nowhere, John. A.J. Taylor is going to be brought down for about a loss of 7. It's going to set up a 3rd and 13 now.
Yeah, that's kind of an interesting call right there. You're actually motioning the linebacker out there. You're trying to get the linebacker, the running back out there so that you're trying to get him as a lead block for that screen. But again, that's a slow developing play, and the ball was really thrown behind the line of scrimmage. So AJ had a hard time getting the ball and getting forward.
So 3rd and long, Flyers need midfield for a first. Lafitte's just going to keep this himself. He's got a little bit of room, and he may have made it. Let's see where they mark him out. He sure did. Jacob Lafitte with a 14-yard scamper around the left side, and that's going to be good enough for a Flyer first down. So great individual effort there, John, by Jacob Lafitte.
Not only a great individual athletic, but to do that, he did a great job of really tucking the ball and going at the appropriate time to be able to pick up the first down.
So the Flyers cross midfield for the first time on offense. Lafitte steps under center. He's going to pitch it to Ebarb, but we're going to have a flag. And Ebarb's not going to go very far anyway. He may have picked up a yard, but this is likely coming back, and it is a motion penalty against Loyola.
And there was Flyers were moving at the snap. They were trying to catch Bossier kind of sleeping right there. Multiple people moving at one time, but not everybody got set.
So after the carry, after the carry and the penalty, it'll be 2nd and 15. Excuse me, it'll be first. Repeat the down. And that pass is incomplete. That time, Lafitte wanted A.J. Taylor. And that'll bring up a 2nd and 15.
And that was really well designed, and they really had the blockers out there. Graham Mann coming from the center position was ready to really create a wall right there for A.J. You know, it was a tough break, him not holding on the ball.
He does a good job of evading the pressure and completes it out across midfield. That is Trey Taylor on that reception, and he'll pick up maybe 6 yards on the reception, and he'll make it 3rd and 9.
I want to really commend Reese Ebarb right there to really allow Jacob to get outside right there. It was a great block on his part. And really, Trey Taylor, as small as he is, it took about 5 or 6 people to actually bring him down.
So 3rd and 9 from the 46. Taylor in motion. Handoff's going to go to Ebarb, and Ebarb breaks a tackle, plows over a man at the 38-yard line, and he's going to be very close, but I think maybe a foot short, John.
Yeah, but that's one that the safety's going to remember right there. So You know,
Ebar with a gain
that's
of
the thing
8.
about
It'll be
Reese
fourth
Ebar.
down
When he
and
gets
one
into
at
the
the
defensive
38.
secondary, a lot of people do not want to make that tackle.
So 4th and less than a yard. Flyers are going to go for this. 6:44 left here in the first quarter. Flyers lead at 7-0 off of a Taylor 83-yard kickoff return to open the game. And the Flyers, let's see, did they get Bossier to jump? No, they made their job a little bit harder. And let's see if Coach Jeter decides to send the punting unit out on the field, and that's exactly what he's going to do. So the Flyers with a golden opportunity missed right there, John.
The Flyers at the 43-yard line.
They had a chance with a 4th and less than a yard, but couldn't stay
Monster on
still
the
on the
punt.
snap.
Davis back deep to receive.
Yeah, that was the offensive right tackle who moved a little bit early on that snap.
Mansour will punt it here for the Flyers. James Davis stands on his own 9-yard line, ready to receive for Bossier. Imagine Mansour is probably going to be directional kicking this. I can say with some certainty that the Flyers want no part of Davis returning this, but they almost got to see that. I'm not so sure that's what they
Davis
wanted.
on the return,
But
the
as it is,
16-yard line,
Davis
no return.
has to go down, and he's down right there at the 16, where the Bearcats will have it 1st and
Really,
10.
I mean, that turned out about as well as you could expect it to turn out. That ball was
27-yard
going
punt
end over end, and he's
by
having to come
Mansour.
forward on that
1st
to try
and
to
10,
field
the
it.
16 for Bossier.
I mean, that worked out about as well as the Flyers special team could have wanted it to.
So 1st and 10 from the 16. Coleman Beeson leads his group back out there again for their second possession of the night. Flyer defense did a great job first time around with a quick 3 and out. And the handoff goes. Let's see, who was that, John? That was
Cody Kilgallen.
32.
Number 32,
That was St. Fleur.
Cody Kilgarden.
Cody
makes the
Kilgarden on the tackle for the Flyers. So Flyers once again doing a really nice
stop.
job
2 to the 18.
controlling the
Second and
line
8.
of scrimmage.
Everybody on Bossier's offense really couldn't get the ball in their hands, and so the Flyer defense has to be able to respect every handoff.
And this time the handoff's going to go to Centavian Burns, and Burns
the
with the
ball
best
carrier.
carry of the night for the Bearcats will get it up
Josh
to the
Jackson makes the
30-yard line, and that's going to be good enough for a Bearcat first down.
Gain of
Josh
12
Jackson
to the 30, 1st
on
and
the
10.
stop for the Flyers. Gain of 12.
Yeah, and this is Bossier Bearcat football right here. I mean, they will take 3, 4, 5 yards every time, and they've got somebody who can break it.
And if you notice, John, they rotate a back in there pretty much every play in the backfield. So they're not afraid to put the ball in several different people's hands here. And that time it'll be a 3-yard carry. And that was Jamal
Brooks
Brooks
carries.
that time. So I think we've seen at least 5 different guys carry the ball so far, and we're not even through the first
Gain of
quarter.
3, 2nd and 7.
And again, that's just a
33.
straight dive right there. Single back dive.
2nd and 7. And I think with the Flyers playing 3 down linemen, John, the Bearcats are
Fine
saying
with the tackle
that's
on
fine.
St.
You know,
Fleur.
they're trying to force Loyola into making
Ball
an
on the
adjustment
35-yard
there.
line.
That's
Gain of
exactly
two,
right. No doubt.
third
Again,
and 5.
they're
At the
bunching
35.
everybody up, and they're running straight ahead. That's just another straight dive right there. But, Jack Biden was able to meet the running back in the hole.
So 3rd and 5. Flyer defense would like to get off the field again right here. And we're going to see the first pass of the night by Coleman, and that pass is going to be incomplete. He wanted his wide receiver that time,
Incomplete.
who is seems to be complaining about pass interference. That was Otis Smith that Coleman was looking for.
That
Beeson was looking for.
5-yard line.
But you know, I mean, you got to respect the play. They're taking a tall receiver against Neo Brock, and you know, nothing against Neo Brock. He's just, you know, he's not as tall as Dylan Williams is, and so you know, that's not a bad play to be considering doing. But Neo Brock played it well.
St. Fleur ready to kick to Key, who stands on his own 28-yard line. And the Flyers almost get there. And let's see if Key touched it. He better pick it up, and he does. Now he's got a little bit of room. He's across the 30, over the 35, and he'll finally be brought down at about the 42-yard line. So Michael Key
on the return.
He's thanking his lucky stars that he was able to pick that one up on the bounce, because he had touched that and put himself and the ball in possession in severe jeopardy right there.
Yeah, that's
John.
not how you really feel them. Tap it to yourself and then kind of want to pick it up, but he did a fantastic job with it. And again, I give the Flyers defense a lot of credit, the special teams a lot of credit there. They create a push on the punter, and really, you know, the referees were looking for roughing the passer, but the punter actually went into his own lineman, so there wasn't any roughing.
And we've seen that in several games this year. That, you know, Coach Mitchell likes to bring the heat on those punts from time to time, and we've seen the Flyers get there on a couple of different occasions. Handoff's going to go to Ebarb this time, and Ebarb's going to take it across the 45 to the 46. That'll be a gain of 3 and set up 2nd and 7.
And you can tell Bossier is really
Gain of 3,
key
2nd
on
and
stopping
7
Reese
at the
Ebarb, which
46.
again is the game plan that, you know, any team would have. So right there, even though the Flyers split out, you could see that the safety really wasn't too concerned with a pass pattern. His eyes were looking at Reese Ebarb, so it makes you think you can get behind him.
.313 left here in the first quarter. Flyers lead at 7-0. David Winkler, John Carmody, Art Carmody on the sideline, bringing you all the action from here in Mesmer Stadium. And Reese Ebarb carries it across midfield down to the Bearcat 47. That's going to be good enough for a Flyer first down.
Ebarb carries to the 47-yard line.
I love that play right there. I love them pulling
That's a
the
gain of
guard
7,
tackle
first
around
down,
right there,
Flyers.
creating that crease for Reese Ebarb, and then once he is going downhill, he's going to take people with him.
So fresh setter down here for the Flyers, and Ebarb once again is going to take the handoff. And once again, Ebarb's got a nice hole. He gets across the 35 to the 34, and that's good for 13 yards and another Flyer first down.
And again, they're pulling the guard right there away from the trip set. So there's really nobody over. There's only one person over here. It's a great play call.
So the Flyers with a little something going here. 2 first downs in a row, and Ebarb with some nice holes. This time Ebarb's going to fight through. Wow, Reese Ebarb just refuses to go down. He's still on his feet. Finally, the official blows it dead at the Bossier Bearcat 24-yard line, and that's going to be a gain of 10 and another Flyer first down. That was all Reese Ebarb, John.
That was 99% Reese Ebarb, but I'll give
That's
1%
a gain of
credit
11.
to
First
Ellis
down,
Tompkins. As
Flyers.
Bossier gang tackled him, Ellis Tompkins is sitting there pushing the pile, and so it helped Reese get a couple more yards out of that.
So that is Keyshawn English now in the backfield, giving Reese Ebarb a much-needed breather. And English is going to get a carry. English over the right side, and he's fighting. He'll get it down to the 21. That'll be a gain of 3. Make it 2nd down and 7.
Again, it's a nice play. They're using Ellis Tompkins as
Gain
really
of
kind of
21,
in
gain
a
of 2, 2nd and
lead
8.
from that tight end / wingback position, and so he's sort of acting as the fullback. And so there was a crease right there, and really that play almost broke.
Again, the handoff goes to English, and English
is tackled by
will
Burns.
get it maybe a yard right there, down to the 20,
20-yard line.
and that'll
Gain
make
of
it
1,
3rd and 4. Third and 6. 3rd and 6.
And again, Bossier played that well right there. They stayed on the line of scrimmage. Loyola was pulling 2 people around, and there really wasn't a crease for him to try to get through.
And this time, Lafitte's going to keep it. He's got a little bit of room. He finally decides to dump it off to Taylor. Taylor catches it at the 15. There's a flag on the play. He gets it down to the 8, but this looks like it's somewhere in the neighborhood of holding against the Flyers. Let's see if that's what it is.
I think they couldn't have thrown that at Trey Taylor's feet anymore. There was 1 or 2 flags, so I think they got him for holding down.
No, they got a legal man downfield, I believe.
Legal man downfield is the penalty against the Flyers.
So the Flyers will have to bring that one back, John. And it'll be 3rd and long when they finish walking this one off. From where they sit, it's about a 42-yard field goal attempt, which Mansour has in his leg. I'm sure that Coach Mitchell would like to see him at least get a little closer, if not get the first down here. 3rd and 10, Flyers need the 14-yard line. English is going to take the handoff. Nice hole. English cuts out of field, and he will get to the 14. Let's see if they give him forward progress. They don't. Kind of surprising, John.
Very close, Dave.
Actually, that wasn't English. That was Chase Jackson. Excuse me. They're going to give him 10 yards. It looked like he got it across the 15, and the defense kind of pulled him back, but the officials say no. They're going to mark it actually at – well, they were standing right on the 15. Let's see where they move there it is. They're going to move it to the 15, so it's going to be 4th and 1, maybe even less than 1, and we're going to go to Art Carmody. We're going to go to Art Carmody down on the sideline right now.
So exciting first play of the night as the Flyers take the opening kickoff, 83 yards back to the house for a quick 7-0 lead. Since then, it's been a physical matchup, both offenses trying to establish themselves. The defenses so far hitting very hard. Flyers have a great opportunity to try to put points on the scoreboard here to start the second quarter to take a 2-score lead. John and David, back to you.
All right, thank you, Art. That's the end of the first quarter. Flyers leading 7-0. The Taylor kickoff return for 83 yards that has accounted for all the scoring to this point in the game. The Flyers do have a 4th and 1 here from their own 15, knocking on the door.
It's 4th down. Flyers.
So what do you bet we see a Reese Ebarb carry right here? I would not be surprised one bit. Now we're going to see a Lafitte attempt at a sneak, but unfortunately the snap is bobbled, and the Flyers are going to lose a golden opportunity there due to a fumbled exchange with the center and quarterback, and the Bearcats will take over 1st and 10 on their own 16-yard line.
When you run an RPO offense and you're in the shotgun all the time, really a simple exchange under center can be difficult, and so it's not shocking that you might have a little difficulty there.
1st and 10 at 16 for Bossier.
So you hope the Flyers don't look back at that one at the end of tonight and win it back, but that's the way it goes sometimes, and the Flyer defense, who's done really good work so far tonight, are going to try to get the Bearcats off the field right here. The handoff's going to go to DeCameron Richardson, and DeCameron Richardson's got a huge hole. He's still on his feet across the 30 up to the 32. That's a gain of 17 yards before Dylan Williams finally brings it down. And that's going to be given up for a Bearcat first down.
Right there, I have to just tell you, Dylan Williams, they lined the wide receiver about a yard from the sideline. And so they were intentionally did it to bring the cornerback all the way over there, and so Dylan Williams had a long way to go to make that play. If he didn't make that play, it's a touchdown. Here they go again with him split out.
And the Flyer defense does a great job that time. Maybe a yard on the carry by Burns. Jack Biden. The Flyer.
Second and 9 at 33.
Richardson is again going to take the carry, and Richardson hard running that time up to the 42-yard line, and that's going to be good enough for a first down.
Richardson carries.
Pick up a 9 on the carry. So far, John, Bearcat running backs, the Cameron Richardson really looks explosive and dangerous.
And there's not going to be an interception coming our way.
Once you missed him, there's a big gap.
You get the feeling if Richardson continues to run like this, you're going to start seeing a lot more of him. And looks like the Bearcats are going to take a timeout. We'd like to thank our All-American sponsors, Auto Body Express, Baker Machine, Barksdale Federal Credit Union, Jimmy Granger and Cane River Auto Adventures, Dr. Peter Nasser, Home Federal Bank, Graff Orthodontics, Specialist Hospital and Orthopedic Specialist, Sure Access MD,
We want to thank our All-American
Network,
sponsors, Auto Body Express,
and River
Baker
City's
Machine,
Interventional
Barksdale
Pain
Federal Credit
Specialist.
Union, Jimmy Granger and Cane River Auto Adventures, Dr. Peter Nasser,
10:18 left here in the first half. John
Graff
Flyers lead at
Orthodontics,
7-0.
Specialist Hospital and Orthopedic Specialist,
Bearcats
Sure Access MD,
showing a little life with the
and River
Cameron
City's
Richardson right
Interventional
now.
Pain
Flyers
Specialist. Thank you for being
been up to the
our
task
All-American
so far.
sponsor. First and 10, Bearcats.
They're going to have to corral the Cameron Richardson the rest of the way if they expect to continue to have the kind of success they've had in the football game. And again, the handoff goes to Richardson, and he plows across the 45 down to the 47. That's a gain of 5, set up second and 5.
And that's one of those plays that Bossier likes to run right there, where they make a quick shift and move Richardson into that tailback position where he's got a lead blocker. And so the Flyers really recognized it quickly, but there's a multitude of blockers right there, so the Flyers defense is going to have to meet him early.
If Savannah's not using it, then yes.
Second and 5.
She is, you got
Richardson
Osmo.
stays deep in the backfield. He motions out to the left wing this time. And this time the handoff is going to go to James Davis. And James Davis is going to go all the way for a touchdown. 53 yards on the
Davis.
field. No flag.
Goes 54 yards
That's a very
for a
similar
touchdown.
situation right there. They line him up potentially in the tailback position. They have a lead blocker with a fullback, plus they pull the guarders. So they had multiple blockers out. Bill Williams took an angle that kind of trying to force the run attack back in, but it created a huge lane to get through.
So
Lopez for the extra point.
Lopez, Diego Lopez, such to attempt the extra point for the Bearcats.
Extra point
kick
is good. Your score with 9:31 to go.
9:31 left here in the first half, John. And the
Bossier
Bearcats
7, Loyola
7. John, watching Diego Lopez kick that extra point right there, you almost wonder why Rico said,
Might have by chance at a $5,000
kickoff
cash
special.
prize
Lopez
or
has
free
a
Loyola
nice
tuition
leg.
from the ladies at the front, at the foot of the stands, near the entranceway. At the foot of the stands near the entranceway. Your chance to win $5,000 cash or free Loyola tuition. Your raffle ticket. Mega raffle ticket. Tonight while you're here.
And so the Flyers, Bossier's good at it. And so, like we talked about at the beginning of the telecast, they've got to recognize their reads. They've got to stay at home, be in their holes, and they're going to have to meet him at the line of scrimmage. Because if any one of these guys breaks the line of scrimmage, any one of them can take it all the way to the house.
And one thing that's pretty apparent, I think, here in the second quarter, too, John, is
Hustle up, let's go! Hustle up!
St. Florida kickoff.
that's two grown men that can absolutely fly.
And Bossier does a nice job of kind of masking where they're going to be. They don't just line up and have them at the tailback position so you feel them. You have to kind of watch them, and then they snap it quickly.
So St. Flour's kick will be fielded out the 12-yard line. That's A.J. Taylor, and A.J. Taylor with a nice return. He'll bring it back to the 32 of the Flyers, and that's where Jacob Lafitte and his offense will start their possession first and 10. So the Flyer offense needs to answer right here, John. They had a great opportunity on their last possession, but unfortunately, the turnover on 4th and 1 cost them a golden opportunity to put some points on the board.
And they've been very effective running the football. The offensive line for the Flyers have really played well against the Bossier front.
Ebar's going to take the handoff. He's got a nice hole across the 35 down to the 37-yard line. 5.
Gain of 5, second and 5.
And Reese is going to deliver it.
Again, the handoff goes to Ebar. Again, there's a nice overlap on this play there. Ebar snapped up at the 45-yard line. The carry will be good enough for a first down. Gain of 8. Let's see what the flag is. Legal shift by the Flyers, looks like.
That's becoming one of the storylines in this game so far. The Flyers have shoot themselves in the foot.
Penalties against the Flyers for legal shift.
So the penalty will move it back to the original line of scrimmage, make it 2nd and 10. Again, Ebar on the carry. Ebar, as he usually does, breaks tackles and carries people downfield with him after contact. Picks up about 7 yards on the carry, and will make it 3rd and 3.
To the 39, make it a gain of 7. 3rd and 3 at the 39.
And we've seen, I mean, Ebar's just another back in a long
Squeeze it, don't run up. Just squeeze it. Now it bounces to Dylan.
That we've seen that have that tough physical running style, would gain a lot of yards after contact. He does a great job with it. Inside handoff that time too. Ebar again breaks tackles. He's up to the 49-yard line. That's a gain of about 9, and that will be a Flyer first down.
Ebar gains 10 to the 49, first down, Flyer.
He does not give the defender really much to grab because he's able to get his shoulder down low and really shield himself from the tackle. He does a fantastic job of that.
He's going to look to put this one in the air. He's under pressure. He finally throws it over the middle, complete. But it's going to be for a loss of 1.
Pass is complete.
He went to Trey Taylor. Not sure that's
exactly
where they wanted to go with that and make it 2nd and 11.
Yeah, and that play has to develop faster than that because the lineman came up, but right there the linebackers were sitting on that play at that point when it took too long.
82 and 88 on the same size AJ.
6:53 left here in the first half. Tie ball game here at Mesmer Stadium, 7-7. 2 5-1 teams putting up a battle that we expected. Reese Ebar, big carries across the 30 down to the 23-yard line. So Reese Ebar with a gain of 28 yards.
4-yard gain.
You know, what's interesting about that call right there?
Taking the 23-yard line.
Bossier's walking up their safeties now, so he's still those yards walking up safety. I was sitting there looking and saying, A.J. Taylor essentially got one-on-one out here on the right, but they're still running the football effectively.
Pete's going to look at those. He looks to the end zone. He's got a man. Taylor! Taylor from Jacob Lafitte for 23 yards and a Flyer touchdown. And the Flyers retake the lead with Up here in the second
23
quarter.
yards.
For safety, really a
that's what he thinks,
play call right there, because you're not going to have better coverage than just one-on-one out there. And so AJ did a fantastic job. Jacob let it
Bossier
out
for the
there
extra
for him.
point.
Looks like the Bearcats were in a little bit of a hurry there. Come across the line.
Again, this
A little early.
presents Loyola with a situation as well. If this is offsides,
Offside for the call.
Since they move it up half the distance, and the Flyers will still elect to go ahead and kick the extra point.
Bonds over the extra point. Nathan Lorette to hold. Extra point
And the
is
kick is good.
Here it is.
It's going to go on down
number
to
14.
Art Carmody
Bossier 7.
on the sideline.
The Flyers have established a running game with Reese Ebar. He's continually running the rock. One thing to look for, he's come out a few times subbing. He's a little bit winded. Be interesting to see how conditioning lasts as the game goes on. The Flyers in control, 14-7, establishing the run. Luring, causing the Bearcat defense to kind of fall asleep a little bit. Jacob with feet to A.J. Taylor. Great pass and catch for the lead. John and David, back to you.
All right, thanks, Art. 68 yards. Go the Flyers in 6 plays.
yard touchdown pass.
It was capped off by the 23-yard touchdown pass from Lafitte to A.J. Taylor, and the Flyers retake the lead 14-7. 6:14 left here in the first half.
Phone.
And now it's up to the Flyer
It's
defense
an iPhone. We
to
have it in
shut
the press
down to
box.
Cameron
Yours,
Richardson and
come
James
identify it
Davis.
if you can.
you know, what was really nice about
Monsoor to kick off.
that play drive right there was they gave a heavy dose of Reese Ebar, and then they softened up the defense, made the defense kind of come up, and then they took their shot deep.
So they're not going to test out the aforementioned Davis and Richardson right there. Instead, they're going to kick it to the up man, and he'll get it up to about the 27-yard line on forward progress.
Chase Jackson and Dylan
Jackson
Williams
and
make the
Dylan
stop.
Williams
Number 82,
make the
Tanner.
stop on Tanner that time. And
It is a return loss
Michael
of
Mitchell's
3
special
yards
teams
to
units,
the
John,
28
have been
Bossier.
nearly flawless
First
so
and 10
far in this
Bearcats
game.
At the 28.
You know, that was a nice, really, again, a directional sky kick that, you know, the Flyers have really perfected over the years. And it's hard when you're catching that ball and then you got to figure out what you want to do with it.
This time, Richardson's going to take the handoff. Richardson tried to stay on his feet, but the Flyer defense does a fantastic job
Richardson
gang
carries
tackling that time.
Durrell
Durrell was there first,
Brock make
along
the
with
stop
Neo
at the
Brock.
27-yard
It'll be a
line. It's
loss of 1. So the Flyers with their
Second and 11
most
at the
successful
27.
attempt to bring down the Cameron Richardson right there, John. They hope that's a harbinger of things to come.
If you're
That
involved in the
play
home
was
honor
made by Jonathan
ceremonies,
Durrell,
please make your
following
way to the patio area
the
in front of the
pulling
field house at this
guard
time.
right there. And so
If
he
you're
was in
involved
the
home
backfield
honor
to meet him
ceremonies,
there at
please
the
make
line of
your way
scrimmage
to
like we
the
talked about.
area in front of the field, in front of the patio
Second
in front of the
and
field house,
11.
please.
Bearcats from their own 27. This time they're going to air it out, and he's got a man. That's to Cameron Richardson. No, excuse me. That's Otis Smith. Otis Smith for the touchdown. That's going to go for
Pass is complete
73
to
yards.
Otis Smith.
Coleman Beeson to
73
Otis Smith.
yards.
And just like that, John, the Bossier Bearcats with 5:15 left here in the second quarter are a point away from tying this thing up.
And that's the effectiveness of splitting out a wide receiver that far, just a few steps from the sidelines. So there really is no safety
Lopez
help
for
right
the
there.
extra point.
So as a cornerback, you're out there and you see him run. Your eyes are towards the quarterback. Right there, Neo Brock had his eyes inside and let the wide receiver get behind him, and it's an easy pitch and catch at that point.
And the Lopez
Next
kick
point is
sneaks
good.
in just inside the right upright, and that'll tie the game back up at 14-14.
The athletic trainer for Loyola is proudly provided.
Are you fishing for some fun? Grab your pierogi and your fishing pole and join Snoopy in the LCP class of 2020 on November 13th for the 67th Annual Style Show, born on the Bayou. Tickets to the Style Show can be purchased online, and tonight we have students selling sweepstakes tickets for the Style Show for prizes valued at $500 or greater. So if you're listening to us here in the stadium, look for one of them. Get your sweepstakes tickets now and come watch your favorite senior jazz it up on the runway on November 13th. So what started out with a lightning strike of a kickoff return, John, and then a little bit of a downturn in scoring has picked right back up again with these teams going back and forth.
Same floor to kick off.
21 quick points on the board. We have a 14-14 tie with 5:15 left here in the first half. Flyer offense now is going to look for their turn to put some more points back on the board. Taylor and Taylor stand at their own 10, awaiting the St. Fleur kick. Taylor's going to receive it, but his knee's going to hit the ground that time. A.J. Taylor, when he went down to pick it up, the official says his knee touched the ground, so the Flyers are going to be backed up well into their own territory, 1st and 10 from their own 8-yard line.
At the 7-yard
A little bit of bad luck there for the Flyers, John.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like his hand came and kept his knee from touching. The official, AJ kind of looked back at the official, I think, wondering if he was calling anything. But I think Coach Jeter is going to want a little bit of an explanation here.
Yeah, Coach Jeter comes out on the field. He seems to be satisfied with whatever the official had to say. Not like there's a whole lot I can do about it anyway.
Yeah, it's one of those short conversations right there.
It's like, oh, his knee hit the ground? Okay. If you say so. All right, here we go. 1st and 10 from the Flyer 8-yard line. Jacob Lafitte needs to go 92 yards if he wants to put some points on the board here. At least if he wants to put 6 on the board. And he's going to look for some of that right there. And he looked for Taylor, and Taylor is absolutely walloped that time. And it's going to draw a flag, probably for leading with the helmet. That was number 34, James Davis. And that would be interesting. John, I'll be honest with you, I can't remember if in high school you can be removed from a game for that type of hit. But if they were to lose James Davis, that would be a huge blow.
Well, I mean, Trey Taylor's
down on the play.
Going to be a huge blow as well. So, and this is huge part of this game right here.
It wasn't helmet to helmet, but he did lead with his helmet and caught him right in what looked like right underneath the shoulder pads, right in the ribs, and that could really hurt.
You know, the other flag looked like it may have been in the area of a hold. So I'm not sure if these are going to be offsetting, which, you know, you hate to see any type of play like that happen.
Hopefully he just got the wind knocked out of him.
Player number 5,
Trey Taylor gets up, takes a look at him. Trey Taylor's looking over at James Davis saying, hey, I'm up, I'm coming back. Give me my one play out. I'll be back.
That's what I like about Trey Taylor. He may not be the tallest kid, but boy, he has got a hard line.
And so
legal man downfield against the Flyers.
So
penalty against Bossier will move the ball to the 19.
So the penalty,
that's a 12-yard penalty,
ends up being a 12-yard penalty. There were 2 penalties on the play, but evidently the personal foul took precedent over the illegal man downfield.
We've had a couple of these instances through the years where we've had 12-yard penalty plays. So
whatever you think about it, it works out well for the Flyers, who now have a first down at their own 19. So.
Officials talk about it and said, whatever the call is, we're going with it. So
1st and 10 Flyers at the 19.
So first down here. Ebarb joins Lafitte in the backfield. Chase Jackson in motion, and Ebarb's going to take the carry
Reese
up to the 26-yard line. That's going to be a gain of 7, make it 2nd down and 3.
That's a gain of 7, 2nd and 3.
And again, another Bossier linebacker goes for about a 4-yard, ride right there, courtesy of Reese Ebarb.
Ebarb again through a nice hole, breaks tackles, and gets it up to the 42-yard line.
Gain of 16.
Gain of 16 on the play, and another Flyer first down.
Again, we keep talking about Reese Ebarb, but the offensive line for the Flyers are opening up holes, and the holes are there on the right side of the offensive line. They're opening up on the left side of the offensive line. Everybody is doing their job.
Ebarb, a busy man this time.
Barlow carries.
Oh, excuse me, that's Wes Barlow on the carry that time. Ebarb getting a quick breather.
45.
He picks up about 3, making 2nd and 7. And Bossier is going to take a timeout here.
And that's really not a bad timeout on their part. I mean, right now they are getting beat on the line of scrimmage. And so I can guarantee you the Bossier coaches are, A, trying to give them a little bit of a break, but B, going to be talking about strategies where they're going to be trying to close down those gaps that Reese Ebar's been running through.
And you can't say enough how important it is that the Flyers have Reese Ebarb back in the fold. We watched the Huntington game here a couple of weeks ago where they didn't have Ebarb, and although English and Barlow at the beginning, did the best they could, that you just can't replace the type of tough physical running that Reese Ebarb brings to the Flyer offense and their ability to control the ball. And tonight, by being able to control the ball, they're keeping an explosive Bossier offense on the sideline, which is something that they were not able to do in the Huntington game. And it really makes a big difference, and we're seeing that bear out tonight.
Which is really important in this last drive of the first half as well.
So 2nd and 7. Flag on the play. Ebarb's going to have, excuse me, that's not Ebarb, that's Michael Key, and Michael Key takes it down to the 20, but that's coming back. It's an illegal shift. So,
and sadly, that was Reese Ebarb right there. He's been playing fantastic. He just kind of got going
Illegal
a little
shift to
early
call on Loyola,
right there.
bring up
But they ran this play last week
40.
against Green Oaks and brought Michael Key in and allowed Reese Ebarb to be the lead blocker. And Michael Key scored on a long touchdown run last week, and that right there was going to be a long gainer for him as well.
So after the penalty, it'll be 2nd and 12. 3:39 left in the first half. Flyers have plenty of time. Lafitte, that's Key. Key is going to keep that one, and he'll take it up to the 45-yard line. That'll be a gain of 5.
Gain of 6.
And that'll bring up a 3rd and 7.
They like to play.
Excuse me, they're going to put it on the 46. And make it 3rd and 6.
They like to play well enough. They went for it again, even though they called the penalty on it. So. This is a big 3rd down play right here, David.
Yeah, they don't want to give the Bearcats the ball back with 2.5 minutes left for sure. Lafitte's going to look to throw. He's under pressure. He gets it off, but it's incomplete. He wanted Reese Ebarb, but Ebarb just couldn't hang on to it. Not sure if he would have been able to get the line to gain anyway from where he was. So that'll bring up 4th and 6. And the Flyer punting unit will come onto the field, and Matt Monser will look to pin the Bearcats back deep in their own territory here.
And that was a safe play call right there. There's nothing wrong with the play call. Bossier read it well. They were out there to defend it, but the Flyers are now giving up Bossier the ball. Very dangerous offense. Time to go down the field again.
So James Davis stands at his 19-yard line. We said last time they didn't probably want to kick to him, but then they kicked right to him, so we're not going to guess. This time it looks like he's trying to directional kick, and he does a great job. Gets a pretty good bounce. Be marked up at the Bearcat 33, and the Bearcats will have
21-yard
2 minutes and 39 seconds to work with here at the end of the first half. So the Flyer defense, with what's probably their most important possession of the night here, really needs to keep the Bearcats off the board here, as the Bearcats will receive the second half kickoff.
It's a good point, David. I mean, this is a really big pivotal part of this ball game right here, this 2.5 minutes.
And the handoff's going to go to Richardson. And Richardson running hard up to the 48-yard line. That's going to be a gain of 15 yards. Dylan Williams finally brought him down, but not before a big first down run. Clock's moving. 2 minutes, 32 seconds left here in the first half, but the Flyers are going to have to do a better job on DeCameron Richardson if they expect to keep the Bearcats out of the end zone here, John.
And again, I mean, Dylan Williams has to make that play even though he's playing way out wide.
This time James Davis is going to carry it, and Davis fumbles, ball on the ground. Flyers have it. Flyers have it at their own 48-yard line. I was so excited, John, I invented a new yard line. Flyers have it at their own 48. 2 minutes and 8 seconds to work with. So, John, now the onus is back on the Bearcat defense. Flyers have it near midfield with 2 minutes, just over 2 minutes to work with here. Plenty of time for the Flyer offense to go down and put some points on the board. So, James Davis, the home run threat for the Bearcats, puts one on the ground and gives the Flyers a big break here at the end of the first half.
Yeah, you cannot understate how big that is right there.
Taylor goes in motion. He almost fumbles it, but he's able to corral it, and he's going to get a nice gain out of this down to the Bearcat 38. That's going to be a gain of 14 yards and a Flyer first down.
First down, Flyers.
2 minutes and 1 second left while they move the chains. The clock stops briefly. Now it'll start to run again.
Again, it's a great play call. They bring Trey Taylor in motion right there, so he's got blockers out in front of him, and they'll let him just kind of weave his way through the defense.
Taylor again goes in motion. This time Ebarb's going to carry, and Ebarb's going to get it up to the 35. That'll be a 3-yard gain, make it 2nd and 7. Clock continues to move. Let's see if Coach Jeter decides to take a timeout here. Clock continues to move. Flyers wasting valuable time here.
2nd and 7.
And again, you're going to have to get your play calls
in. Let's see. It looks
like
Coach Jeter did finally take a timeout there. 1:21 left on the clock here in the first half. 2 timeouts left for the Flyers, so they've got a couple more to work with here, John.
I think that was Coach Jeter getting a little bit frustrated about just the calls being slow coming in, the typical play calls. So they're lined up, they're waiting for the signals, but you said it correctly, it's just wasting a lot of time. And so what they have to be thinking about is play number 1, play number 2, play number 3, if you want to conserve your timeouts with this 1:21 left. Because you can't get up there and do what they were doing right there and waste 25, 30 seconds thinking about whatever your next play is going to be.
All right, so Flyers with 1:21 left here in the first half, score tied at 14, have a 2nd and 7 from the Bearcat 35-yard line. 2 timeouts left to work with. Remember, the clock stops briefly on a first down.
2nd and 7.
Feet's going to roll right. He's going to look to throw. He throws downfield complete. He's got his man Taylor at the 24.
Pass is complete.
That'll be good enough for a first down.
To the 24.
Gain of 11 yards on the pitch and catch.
Flyers.
And more importantly, John, the clock stops with 1:17 as he goes out of bounds.
I really like that play call coming out of the timeout right there. It was a very safe throw. They rolled Jacob out. Bossier really hadn't seen that. And a quick, easy out pass.
Feet's going to hand off to Ebarb. Ebarb has a nice hole. Ebarb across the 20, still on his feet.
Reese Ebarb.
He'll take it down to the 17-yard line.
To the 17. Gain
And
of 7.
that'll be a gain of 7. Make it 2nd and 3. Clock moves with 1 minute left here in the first half. Flyers with 2 timeouts.
And look how quickly they're getting their play call in right now. They know they can't wait.
They are on the outskirts of Montour field goal range right here, so they're at least in position to pick up 3. But now let's see. This may be by design, and maybe Jeter doesn't want to leave any time on the clock if they score. I don't know else why they take the play clock down to 8. Lafitte rolls left. And he's got his man again, Taylor. Taylor down to the 5. That'll be good enough for another Flyer first down.
Out of bounds.
He gets out of bounds and stops the clock with 33 seconds left after the 12-yard gain.
First and goal at the 5.
So it may not be exactly the timing that you want right here, but
Timeout. Loyola.
So the Flyers go ahead and take a timeout right there with 29 seconds left. So they said he wasn't out of bounds is what happened, John. It looked like he got tackled out of bounds, but they said he came down short of the out of bounds line, I guess. So Jeter was forced to use one of his timeouts there.
And really, that's not the worst thing in the world. You've got really you got one timeout left, and you're at the 5-yard line. You can run the ball here, so you can really set up for really 3 plays if you want to try to do that in 20. They're resetting the clock to 33 now too, but you really can run 3 plays right here if you're thinking about it right now. So you're not forced to roll out anything. You're not forced to look at 3 different pass plays. You know, running E-Barb in this situation is still a very legitimate call.
We resume play. First and goal, Flyers.
The first and goal from the 5. 33 seconds left with 1 timeout. Go the Flyers. And that's Reese Ebarb, who carries it across the end zone for a Flyer touchdown. And the Flyers take the lead again at 20-14.
I really love the no panic right there. That is exactly what we just talked about before that play happened. You can run Reese Ebarb. You've got time. You've got a timeout to work with. And Reese Ebarb really is your most effective 5-yard play right there. And I love the play call.
So Mansour set to attempt his 3rd extra point of the night.
Mansour for the extra point.
And for the 3rd time tonight, the kick is good. And
your new score, Loyola 21.
Art Carmody's going to save his pithy commentary for the halftime conversation with Coach Jeter here in 28 seconds.
You know, David, we talked about 5 minutes to go that, you know, how big these last 5 minutes were going to be. And so we saw really what could have been disastrous. They punt the ball to Bossier. It was really kind of a short punt, gave Bossier good field position. Bossier made a couple of big plays. That turnover was huge. And then on top of that turnover, to drive it in, use up as much time as you can to really go into the half with the lead is really important.
It's a 5-yard run.
Yeah, no, each team has had one
your new score, Loyola 21.
costly turnover so far. The botched exchange that cost the Flyers some points early in the game, and then James Davis's fumble. So they're even on that deal. So with 28 seconds left here in the first half, the Flyers need to do a good job here on special teams. Don't allow anything crazy like a long kickoff return.
But not only that, 28 seconds. I mean, Bossier's shown that they can score in 11 seconds, you know.
So Mansour will squib it, and it's going to be fielded. It's going to be touched by the up man. Finally, Richardson's going to field it, but he's not going to go anywhere. Flyer special teams does a great job of bringing him down at the 29-yard line. So the Bearcats have 23 seconds to work with from their own 29.
I like that play call right there. I like the Coach Mitchell call, the squib kick, directional kick at someone. And again, they got what they needed to, putting Bossier back in as long a field position as they possibly can.
So all eyes on Davis and Richardson right here. And there goes Richardson. Richardson's got a hole, and he's going to be bought down by a couple of Flyers that time. Ian Birch and Bodden, they're on the tackle. So the Flyers obviously keying on the big target for the Bossier Bearcats, and the Bearcats are going to take a timeout. Loyola's going to take a time. No, excuse me. The Bearcats are going to take the timeout. It's like,
Correction.
why would
Timeout,
the
Bossier.
Flyers take a timeout there? The
It is
Bearcats
their
are going to take a
final
timeout
timeout.
here with 10 seconds left.
So what does that tell you right there, David? They know they have a big boy offense. I mean, to call timeout when you have got
Well, they
66
Yeah.
yards to go, 10 seconds left in the first half. I mean, that tells you something about what you think about your offense.
Well, it's interesting, that formation right there, with nearly 70 yards to go, and they're in a tight formation. They don't even have a wideout. Just selling out for the run right there with 20-something seconds
Well,
left.
that's been a big play for
Yep.
them. And the thing that has to happen is the corners for Loyola need to make sure that they are not coming too far upfield.
Right.
If there is not a receiver out there, they cannot take a direction where they run themselves out of the play. They've got to be able to sit for that.
So the Flyers back their safety. They got 3 men deep. Playing a cover 3 right here. And again, this one's going to be James Davis. And Davis, he'll get hit hard by the Flyers at the Bearcat 40. And
Richardson carries. Kilgarland
that's going to
and
be
Bodden make the stop
let's see, are they going to get a timeout right there,
at
John?
the 40-yard line.
And that's
Gain
going
of
to be a
6.
first down. That's going to stop the clock briefly. Then now they're going to widen it, and that's going to be the end of the first half. So Flyer defense does their job right here at the end of the first half and holds on to the lead for the Flyers. Your score here at halftime, Loyola 21, Bossier 14. And we're going to go down to the field to Art Carmody, who's going to catch Coach Jeter as he walks off the field.
Offensively, Reese running the ball really well. Is that
Stay
gonna
tuned.
continue
Our
on in
Hall
the
of
second
Honor
half?
ceremony.
We hope so.
begins
If we want to have success in the second half, we're going to have to
Many
run
of
the
you
football
take pictures as you like.
and stop killing drives ourselves. We should have more than 21 points up there. But it's kind of tough games like this. We just got to do better with the football, and that's what I'm going to talk to him about in the second half.
And Reese, conditioning, any concern or issue in the second half?
Hopefully not. He's battling a little hamstring deal right now, but I think he's going to be fine.
And then defensively, Bossier not known for big plays. They're a grind out offense, but 2 big plays got some points on the scoreboard. What do you got to do to limit those in the second half?
Well, I beg to differ. They got a lot of speed, and that's what we got to do is prevent big plays and make them grind it out against us. One, we just didn't get lined up fast enough, had bad angles to the football, didn't tackle very well. And then one was, they just beat us one-on-one in coverage on the outside. We just got to clean those things up. Coach Jackson does a great job of making halftime adjustments. And, this is going to be a great football game. And it's going to come down to who makes the least amount of mistakes and who wants it more in the second half.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Art. Hope you guys will hang out with us here at halftime. We're going to have coverage of the Hall of Honor presentation, which is always a wonderful annual event that they hold here during football season. And then from the Media Arts Department, we've got a great hype video to show you after that. Then we'll be right back for the exciting second half here at Mesmer Stadium. Once again, your score here at halftime, Loyola 21, Bossier 14. We'll see you back here in about 20 minutes for the start of the second half. You're watching Flyer football on LCP TV.
One of 9 children. Including football and soccer.
All right, welcome back. I'm about to get the second half kicked off here. Flyers lead it 21-14. So, John, I mean, the Flyer defense is really, with the exception of a couple of big plays, has done a really nice job keeping the very potent Bossier offense in check. The Flyer offense kind of found their legs there in the second quarter. A couple of nice drives. One of them that was the direct result of a big and fortunate Davis fumble at midfield towards the end of the second quarter. And the Flyers, if they want to continue this level of success, what are they going to have to do in order to make that happen?
You know, the main thing is it's really going to take a little adjustment on the cornerbacks. The cornerbacks and the big plays that they've been able to create, they're trying to take advantage of the fact that the wide receivers are so far split out that they're putting the cornerback in an awkward position. And so really, the corners are key to really stopping this Bossier offense. They're trying to run all of these little misdirections and these wing sweeps, trying to get outside. And so if they block it down well, you really just have the corner out there. And Dylan Williams has shown how important that position is. He has made two really probably touchdown-saving stops out there. And you can also see what happens as your eyes are in. You can see that, Bossier's coaches are watching that, and so they're looking to see, all right, now it's time to take advantage and let's go deep. So, that's going to be key as we go into the second half.
And a big part of the Flyers' Flyers' success on offense has been Reese Ebarb, who has 144 yards already in this game. The Flyer offense total 237 yards of offense there in the first half. So Reese Ebarb with almost half or more than half of the Flyers' total offense on his legs. So, John, Reese Ebarb doing everything he can do. Jacob Lafitte has had a couple of nice passes to complement him. And the Flyer offense is doing what it needs to do in order to win this game. What does the Flyer offense need to do in the second half to continue that? I mean, I know it's obvious that Reese Ebarb needs to keep running like that. But obviously they're going to make some adjustments, you would think.
And that's the thing that you're going to have to watch for. What is Bossier going to do different? They tried to walk up safeties to help out with Reese Ebarb. But I want to go back. You talked about those 144 yards. Those 144 yards, there are a lot of yards that are after contact. Those are yards after getting hit. But the offensive line is doing a great job of getting him past the first level. And so it's linebackers that he's making contact with. And I'm telling you, those linebackers, you might as well give Reese Ebarb an Uber account because he's been giving these guys a ride all half long.
The aforementioned Jacob Lafitte is 7 of 9 for 57 yards and 2 touchdowns. So not a whole lot of yardage there, but a great completion percentage and a couple of touchdowns has led to a pretty nice first half for Jacob Lafitte.
Yeah, Jacob's done what his coaches have asked him to do, and he's really done that well all season long. He has really learned very fast about not doing too much, and that is a hard thing for somebody who's a sophomore to learn. He's done a fantastic job by that. I want to make one little quick point about halftime, David, and I talk about the experience out here at Mesmer Stadium. There are two things that are going on tonight that you may not be able to appreciate on the telecast, which are really show you what this place is about. They had the Hall of Honor ceremony at halftime, which is a fantastic ceremony. And to watch the kids dressed in pink, not just kids, but faculty and everybody else dressed in pink for breast cancer awareness, it really shows you what this school, what this place is all about, and it's just two more examples of what makes coming out here on Friday night so special.
All right, so we're about to get the third quarter kicked off here. The Flyers will kick. Bossier won the toss and elected to defer to the second half, so they'll get the kickoff here.
And I was told at halftime to get a shout out to Birmingham, Alabama, to Larry Ridgway, who I believe is Jacob Lafitte's uncle, who is tuning in from afar, and so I hope he's enjoying the telecast.
So Matt Mansour will tee it up, get ready to kick here to start the second half. James Davis into Cameron Richardson. The very dangerous Davis and Richardson stand at their own 20-yard line.
As David has said in the past, if you are out there somewhere listening to the LCP TV, we love to recognize and know that people care to watch the telecast.
We need to do a better job of finding a vehicle with which to converse with our viewers, John. We need to figure that out. So here comes the start of the second half. That kick will be fielded by Centavian Burns, and Burns will take it up to the Bossier 37-yard line, and that's where the Bearcats will have it 1st and 10.
Burns on the return. Hamiter and Josh
Luke Hamiter
Jackson
and Josh Jackson made the tackle for the Flyers.
And you can see every kickoff that the Flyers have done has been a little bit different. They've done sky kicks, they've done kind of directional squib kicks. Right there, it was kind of a different than the last squib kick and kind of kicking it over to the right. So they're trying to give Bossier plenty to think about.
So there's some discussion. Coach Jeter alerted the official to something. I'm not sure what they're talking about. They've sent the Bossier team back from the line of scrimmage. Can't really tell now. They're going to come back over and talk to Coach Jeter again. I'm really not sure what this is about.
And maybe a sideline discussion about just in the second half. Maybe the officials coming down the sideline maybe were impeded somewhere along the line. Maybe it just emphasizes to the kids to be back. And Coach Jeter has kind of an incredulous reaction to whatever was said.
Well, let's see. And so they come up to the line of scrimmage and they send them back again.
I think there's still
and this time now they're looking at the Bossier sideline where there's a couple of officials over there discussing something, and maybe they're working on the chain. It looks like he came down. Maybe the chain broke.
It looked like the yard clip maybe came off. They didn't have the clip that sits in the middle.
So
a
little equipment malfunction there. We got that squared away, and here we go. Beeson under center for the Bearcats. He's going to hand off that time to Rico St. Fleur, and St. Fleur will take it across the 40 down to the 42-yard line. Be a gain of 5, make it 2nd down and 5.
Jackson.
That right there shows why the corners cannot come up too much in this defense, because if they come up, it's really the safety is the only person left to make that play.
This time the handoff goes to St. Fleur, and St. Fleur picks up a few yards. He'll get it up to the 46-yard line. Excuse me, that's Brooks, not St. Fleur. And it looks like Brooks is going to come off the field a little hobble, John.
He's to the 46.
They'll set up a 3rd and 1.
It'll be 3rd down and 1.
Penalty on the play. So it's going to be movement by Bossier.
Legal motion.
So that'll move it back 5 yards, and that'll make it 3rd and 6 now. So a fairly costly penalty, John. You go from 3rd and 1 to 3rd and 6.
That's interesting. I didn't even know they really kind of gotten set right there. It looked like it's kind of an early call, but.
Ball on the ground. Coleman Beeson couldn't handle the snap, and he ends up just having to fall on it. So
recovered by Beeson.
a big break there for the Flyers. Even though they don't recover the ball, they're going to force the Bearcats into a punting situation. It'll be a 1 yard loss. Make it 4th and 7.
You just said it, Dave. That's a big play right there. I mean, you know, every time you can stop the Bossier offense, you know, you're doing something. And if it takes a
St. Florida kick.
false start penalty and it takes
Michael Key,
a
deep to
you know,
receive.
fumbled snap, we'll take it.
Michael Key stands on his own 20, waiting the St. Fleur kick. And the Flyers get in there, and there's a flag on the play, though.
It looked like there was a false start there.
Let's see. It was, yep, movement again by the Bearcats, and that's going to move it back 5 more.
But you can see that.
The Flyers still got in there pretty quick.
Coach Mitchell is not holding back. I mean, they've got Michael Key back, but they've got 10 guys up there, and so they think they can get there.
Well, they almost got there in the first half one time. It was awfully close.
We'll move the ball to the 35 of Bossier. It'll be 4th and 12.
But this is where, you know, we've seen the Flyers give up, you know, first downs when they've had it, you know, 4th and punting situation and rough to kicker. So they need to be careful, make sure that they're not too over anxious.
Key now stands on his own 25.
There's a false start again.
And another false start. And the Bearcats, let's see here, are going in the wrong direction. So
5-yard penalty makes it 4th and 17.
a great start to the second half if you're a Flyer fan, not so much if you're a Bearcat fan here, John.
Yeah, it makes you think that, you know, Bossier may not have to punt very often. Their offense may be so good that, you know, they seem to have a difficult time getting into formation and actually getting in punt.
So Michael Key now stands on his own 30. And they get the punt off. It's an end-over-end punt. It's going to take a Bearcat
kick.
bounce. He is just going to let it roll dead right there at the 20-yard line, and that's where the Flyers will take over. 50 yards on the punt by St. Fleur. No return, and Jacob Lafitte will bring his Flyers out 1st and 10 from his own 20.
You know, you always worry when you see a kid back there and that ball starts rolling. If you don't go get it initially, and you're trailing that ball like that, that's when bad things can happen.
And then there's no sense in hovering over it at that point. You just need to run the other way.
1st and 10 Flyers at the 20-yard line.
Reese Ebarb's going to take the pitch. Reese Ebarb's got some running room up to the 30-yard line. That's a gain of 10, and that's going to be a Flyer first down.
And he's going to be slow getting up on that.
Gain of 11.
He gets up a little bit hobbled,
Flyers
no doubt.
31.
154 yards rushing on the night. Hopefully that won't be the last yard we see out of him, because he has been the heart and soul of the Flyer offense here so far.
But, you know, on that shift that the Flyers offense had, Bossier did not shift at all.
Wes Barlow on the carry. He'll get it up to about the 31.
Carries, tackled by Lamar Taylor.
That'll be a gain of 5.
Gain is to the 36.
Make it 2nd and 5.
2nd down and 5.
I really like that run by Barlow right there. He's running hard too.
Ebarb, we can see him down on the sideline. He's being attended to by the training staff. That pass is incomplete, juggled, but in and out of the arms.
Pass is incomplete.
That time of Brandon Williams. Make it 3rd and 5.
You know, I like the play call right there. You know, you've been effective though running the football. It's a nice little slant route right there. Jacob put it where it needed to be. You know, it's kind of low, but a ball that, you know, could have easily been caught too.
Feet's going to roll off. He looks downfield. That pass is complete. That's Brandon Williams. And Brandon Williams is going to go all the way in for a Flyer touchdown.
Brandon Williams.
Tremendous pitch and catch that time. Jacob Lafitte to Brandon Williams. And the Flyers take a 27-14 lead with 7:44 left here in the third quarter. Great pass that time by Jacob Lafitte, John. Really put that ball on the money, on the move, running against the grain. He's a right-handed thrower running left.
Not only was that difficult, but you had Brandon Williams essentially running backwards to catch that ball. And again, it was a great play call because you're actually, using your tall receiver against a shorter cornerback. So it's a great call all the way around. But I want to just give Brandon Williams a ton of credit to catch that ball essentially backing up and then turn around, and he turned on the wheels right there. They say that Brandon is one of the fastest kids on the entire team, and he really showed it right there. This is great. I've seen Brandon, I think, 2 times this year.
All right, we're going to go to Art Carmody real quick.
Flyers go 4 plays, 80 yards, a minute 14 off the clock. A 64-yard touchdown pass from Jacob Lafitte to Brandon Williams.
All right, thanks, Art. And John, you were saying?
No, I was just saying I'm really happy for Brandon Williams. I think he's had 2 touchdowns in earlier games that were called back for penalties, and so. As has been said in the overhead, that is his first career touchdown reception, and he certainly deserves it.
64 yards on the pass play gives the Flyers a 14-point lead halfway through the third quarter. So the Flyers in business right now, John. Now it's up to that Flyer defense to keep that high-octane Bearcat offense out of the end zone. DeCameron Robinson's going to field it and carry it up to the 35-yard line, and that's where the Bearcats will have it 1st and 10.
I really like that directional kick. Again, that directional kick is going to the second level
returns,
right there.
Key
The
and
second
Joshua
level
Jackson
doesn't know what it wants to do, and so they have to wait, and so a very slow,
it is an 8-yard return to the 35.
Return, and so the Flyers were able to get down there and corral the return man.
So the Bearcats, you can't say enough. This is kind of a position the Bearcats have not found themselves in this year. Having won their first 5 games, they lost last week, but it was a close game. And right now, trailing 2 touchdowns is a bit of unfamiliar territory. That's Coleman Beeson looking to get half of it back right there in one play. He wanted Otis Smith, who caught the long touchdown pass in the first half, but that time Neo Brock with great coverage for the Flyers.
Again, that is the island that the cornerbacks are on out there, and you could see that's what the Bossier coaches want. They've got the same thing. They've got a tall receiver against a shorter cornerback, and so they're trying to take advantage of Neo Brock's size, and he's doing a good job. He's trying to stand up to these taller receivers.
And that's going to be Rico St. Fleur on the carry. He'll be knocked out of bounds at the 43-yard line. That'll be a gain of 8.
It's a gain
He'll set up a 3rd down and 2.
3rd down, 2.
I'm going to go back to that same thing. On those little quick hitters like that, it's up to the safety. He's got to make the play, but the corners cannot run themselves out of the play.
This time it's Centavian Burns on the carry, and Burns will have a 1st down. He'll pick up about 6 yards on the carry up to the Bearcat 49.
And that is exactly
Burns carries.
what Dylan Williams just did right there.
Joshua Jackson.
Again, they're trying to run inside of that. They don't want to stretch it all the way to the edge, but they're trying to go inside of that so the corners cannot come upfield too much. And right there, he was able to help clean that up with Josh Jackson.
Big hit that time. Flyer defense is all over that play. That was big number 52, Jonathan Durrell, who with a hit you could hear all the way up here in the box, John.
Second down, 11 at the 48.
A week doesn't go by that we don't call out Jonathan Durrell, and it is, you know, he just plays the game the right way.
So second down and 10. Handoff's going to go to Cameron Richardson, and Richardson around the right end will have about 3 yards, but that's it. So the Flyer defense
Richardson
doing a great job that time on Richardson.
Bodden and Jackson.
Bodden and Jackson on the stop for the Flyers, and that'll make it third down and 8.
40.
Bodden and Jackson made the tackle, but
Gain of
Michael
3,
Key made that
third and
play.
8.
He came up and just took on the lead blocker right
By the
there,
way, after the game,
and
will
he
be transferred
stretched the running
performance by
back
the
out
Bossier High
even
band.
further to allow the
Bossier
defense
High
to clean it
band
up.
will
And great
perform
play by Key.
after the game on the field.
So third and 8. Bearcats need the 41 of Loyola. Handoff goes to St. Fleur, and St. Fleur isn't going to get there. He'll get the 45, but that's it. He's going to be 4 yards shy. And let's see what the Bearcat
At St. Fleur,
coaching staff decides to do. Michael Concilio with
Jackson and Dylan
his
Williams
first
on the stop.
quasi decision of the night. There's still
This is a
5
hard
minutes
one.
left in the third.
Ball will be spotted at the 46.
And it looks
Gain
like
of
they
3.
are going to try to go
Fourth
for this,
down
John.
and 5.
So 4th and 5.
This is a really big play for the Flyer defense.
You know, they're at for just inside of 5 yards, so they could try to draw them off sides here. Nope, they will snap it. And James Davis is going to carry. Davis sheds 1, 2, 3, 4 tackles. Wow. James Davis, number 34, doing his best
34,
Bo Jackson
James
impersonation
Davis.
right there. Gets the
Flags on
first
the
down,
play.
but there is a flag on the
Out of bounds
play.
by Jackson.
Let's see what that's about.
A great individual play. He took on Dylan Williams, and Dylan Williams had him really behind the line of scrimmage. Dylan Williams stayed home. That was really a smart play, but he was able to run over him.
So the call is against the Flyers, so tack
Dead ball
on
penalty against the Flyers.
the dead ball 15-yard
15
penalty
yards
to
to
the
the
end of
run.
that run. So all of a sudden, the Bearcats
Ball at the 25
are
yard
in
line.
business deep
gain
in
of
Loyola
6 for the first
territory. They're going to have
down,
it
plus
first and
15.
10 from the Flyer
First and
25 with
10.
4:42 left.
Bearcats.
Here in the third quarter, they're trailing 28-14.
And the Flyer defense does not need to make it any easier on Bossier's offense, so they really need to keep their heads in check.
The Coleman Beeson pass this time is going to be complete. He got Otis Smith, and Smith takes it all the way down to the Flyer 4.
Smith.
Tell you what, John,
Tackled by
you
Brock.
can't fault the coverage by Neo Brock and the Flyer secondary. They were all over Smith. He just threw it up for grabs, and
4-yard line. It'll be
Smith
first and
just
goal.
showed him he could jump a little bit higher.
It's the difference in being 6'2 or 6'3 and being 5'10, you know. It's, you know,
21 yards on the
just,
completion.
you know, your hands can reach up a little higher, and so, you know, they see what they can get on the edge, and that, you know, that's going to be their pass plays for the evening.
First and goal from the 4 now. Go the Bearcats. Trying to get back into this game, trailing by 14, but threatening.
Yep.
And they're going to get a 5-yard penalty. No, let's see, timeout, Bossier. Looked like they moved for a second.
Timeout on the field.
But Michael Concilio
Bearcats.
takes a timeout here with 4:02 left in the third quarter.
But this is really, I mean, this is a big deal right here. This drive, you know, for Bossier is big. For the Flyer defense, this is really big. You know, them getting back within one score, of course, leaves this game totally open for the rest of this game.
You know, there's no doubt. I mean, you can tell that those big play threats, particularly to Cameron Richardson and James Davis, you know, you could see on that fourth down carry by Davis. I mean, you could almost feel what his thinking was, which is nobody's bringing me down on this play. I mean, you know, if I have to break 6 tackles to get a first, that's what's going to happen, and that's exactly what he did. So you can imagine you're going to see an entire fourth quarter of something along those lines, and the Flyer defense is going to have to be up to the task. And probably the Flyer offense is going to have to be up to the task, staying one step ahead of them. Richardson carries, and he's going to cross the goal line for a Bearcat touchdown, 4-yard touchdown run for Cameron Richardson.
4-yard run.
3:55 left here in the third quarter, and the Bearcats cut the Flyer lead to 8 at 28-20, pending the extra point.
There seems to be a lot of jawing between players, too. I see a lot of players looking back at each other, and the officials seem to be looking at it as well. So I really hope that does not come into play the rest of this game.
So Lopez set to attempt
kick.
his third extra point of the night. First two were good. High hold, and they almost got there. Oh my goodness, John!
Extra point
It
is good.
sure did look like it was. That was Josh Jackson
Bossier,
was going to get
21.
there and block that one, but to no avail. And Lopez's kick goes through the uprights, and the Bearcats now trail it by 7, 28-21.
And it looks like, I mean, Josh Jackson, we've seen block extra points this season, and he does a great job coming off the edge. You know, that one right there looked like he could have just slid into the ball and taken it away from the holder. So, you know, I would imagine that Coach Mitchell's seen that, and he may go aggressively again, hoping that we don't have to see him score.
Well, yeah, I mean, you certainly get the feeling that a big play in this fourth quarter may be a block punt or a block. I mean, that 1 point, as you said, a 1 point blocked extra point could be the difference in the football game. So Rico St. Fleur ready to kick it off for the Bearcats. Taylor and Taylor back to receive for the Flyers.
St. Fleur to kick off.
And this kick will be fielded by Trey Taylor. Trey Taylor has some room around the right side. Trey Taylor still on his feet. He'll finally get knocked out of bounds. Let's see if that's a penalty. Sure is. There comes penalty, 2 penalties. So tack on 15 to that nice Trey Taylor
15,
return.
yeah.
He went out of bounds at the 44.
On the play.
But that's going to end up in Bearcat territory when they finish marking the penalty off here, John.
You know, and that's one of the hard things. Trey Taylor is so elusive. It is hard to see him. So I could see a defender, you know, coming. And, you know, he was clearly out of bounds. It was a good call.
Personal foul
late
on the
hit.
kicking team.
But really, that
Add
is
15
a
yards
tribute to the way Trey plays.
Return.
So they'll march it down to the
First and 10
Bearcat
Flyers at
41.
of the
So
Bearcats.
Flyers in really nice field position to start this possession. 3:47 left here in the third quarter. Flyers now lead at 28-21. A share of first place is on the line for the Flyers tonight in District 1-3A. Lafitte rolls left. They're looking for that same play that they got the touchdown on earlier. He wanted
Lafitte's pass
Trey
is the play
Taylor this
intended
time, not quite the same play,
for
but
Trey Taylor.
as it is, the pass was a little out in front of Taylor, incomplete, make it 2nd and 10.
Yeah, that's a tough play right there. Jacob has to roll to his left and then throw the flag route. You know, that's a tough placement right there. He really wasn't able to step into his throw.
So 2nd and 10, and that's Reese Ebarb. Nice to see Ebarb back in the game, but Ebarb is actually going to lose a yard that time, bring up 3rd and 11. Ebarb's a tough
Tackle in
kid.
the backfield.
We've seen that
Loss
throughout his
of
career, John. And
1.
you just knew that he wasn't going to be out of the game very long.
3rd and 11 at the 42.
Big third down here, John. 3rd and 11. Flyers need the 31 of Bossier for a first down. Ebarb in motion. Lafitte's going to look to throw. He's got Williams, but Williams has to go down to get it, and he's going to be down at the 44. That's going to be a loss of 2 on the play. And Matt Monster is going to look to pin the Bearcats deep here. So that possession, after the great field position to start with, John, didn't go the Flyers' way.
Well, you know,
Monsoor to punt.
the thing that they've been effective with is really kind of running Ebarb, and they started that drive looking for the home run play. So, you know, you don't want to give this ball back to Bossier and give them too much momentum.
Monsoor, a high kick. It's going to be signaled for the fair catch at the 15 by James Davis.
The 15-yard line.
And the Bearcats will have it from there, 1st and 10.
A nice kick by Monsoor.
29-yard punt.
They really he angled that, you know, or skied it well enough to get good coverage down there, not giving Davis a chance to do anything with it.
So Coleman Beeson hands off to big number 34, James Davis, and Davis carries 3 Flyers with him down to the 31-yard line. That's going to be good for 16 yards and a Bearcat first down. Pierce Jackson there on the tackle, but not before a 16-yard game.
32, gain of 17, first down.
We talk about this all the time, that Bossier likes to, you know, pull out these guards out in front, and they're doing a very good job of cutting it inside. I keep saying the same thing, that the corners have to make sure that they do not run themselves out of these plays.
The handoff that time to Centavian Burns, but he's brought down almost immediately by Josh Jackson and Jonathan Durrell, amongst others.
Gain of 1, second down, 9 at the 33.
So after the 1-yard gain, it'll be 2nd and 9. And John, you know, the Flyer defensive line has really done a pretty good job on those inside runs. It's those runs outside of the tackles that have really hurt them.
Yeah, Bossier's very effective with pulling guards.
Sam, the Bearcats are going to look deep, and he's got a man. That's Mackay Tanner, and Mackay Tanner is going to take it the distance, but there is a flag on the play. It's a 68-yard reception for a touchdown if it stands, but the officials seem to be signaling that this one's coming back. Let's see.
And we have a flag later on down the. It looked like one of the Loyola players got hit in the back at the very end of the run.
2 flags on the play.
And so it looks like that's where they're throwing the flag on the end of the play. But something happened on the very front end of the play that we're waiting on that call as well.
So they're bringing it back. Everybody's walking back this way. So Flyers dodge a bullet right there, John, with 49 seconds left here in the 3rd quarter. So the call is they had too many men, or excuse me,
False start.
yeah,
They had a false start and a push in the back.
They had too many men in the backfield too. They signaled only 6 men on the line of scrimmage, I think. So it was an illegal formation and a false start.
But I want to go back to that play. The great play designed by Bossier. They're rolling the quarterback out. They really got one-on-one coverage right there. And so they're running just a fly pattern. And Dylan Williams is having to kind of weave and try to look for the ball as the quarterback's able to just kind of dance outside. And so, you know, it's very hard to be out on that island playing quarterback in that situation.
Well, and you wonder whether they won't start giving them a little safety help. And they're going to roll to the other side this time. That pass is nearly intercepted.
Pass incomplete. Broken up on the play by Michael
That was
Key.
Michael Key who got there and got a hand on it.
14.
Darn near picked it off. Ball hits the ground, and it'll make it 3rd and 14. So Flyer defense with a wonderful opportunity here, John, to get off the field.
Yeah, the quarterback had really two options there. His deeper wide out was actually open. Thankfully, he went to the shorter little out, and Michael Key was sitting there waiting for it. He almost had an interception.
So here we go with one of those 3rd and long situations. Let's see if the Flyer defense will give a little safety help over the top. And they're going to look to throw, and that pass is complete. And that's going to be good enough for a Flyer first down. A Bearcat first down. That's Makai Tanner again. So, John, there you go.
Stop of the play by Birch.
So, again, the Flyers laid off right there. The Flyers have been playing a lot of press coverage in this game, and then right there they laid back, about 10 to 15 yards, and so it was an easy little opening for the quarterback to throw into.
So give a lot of credit to Coleman Beeson, the Bearcat quarterback here, John. He didn't look like he was going to be a big threat to start the game, but he's really thrown several nice balls and made several big plays with his arm. Handoff.
But these
going
drives
to get up to the 49-yard line that time. That's
St. Fleur carries.
St. Fleur
Key
on the
and
carry.
Birch
It'll be a 4-yard game, make it 2nd and 6.
At the 49-yard line.
So we're going to be down in the 3rd quarter now.
And 6. That's the end.
And that is the
of the
end
third
of the 3rd quarter. 3 quarters in the books here at Mesmer Stadium, and the Flyers holding a 7-point lead, 28-21. We're going to go to Art Carmody on the sideline. All right, thanks, Art.
So, the thing that is really interesting as we're into this, starting the 4th quarter, is, the Flyers defense has been throwing a lot of different things by the Bossier offense. And it gets to be kind of dizzying at certain points. And so, go back to the start of the game, they've got to just, forget about the last play, remember your reads, and do what you're supposed to do.
Well, let's see if the Flyers can do just that. It'll be 2nd and 6 when we resume play here to start the 4th quarter. Bearcats have it at their own 49-yard line, looking to tie this thing back up if they can get to the Flyer end zone. Beeson's going to hand off to DeCameron Richardson, and Richardson's going to be brought down at the Flyer 43-yard line. That's going to be a gain of 7, and good enough for a Bearcat first down. Ball down by Pierce Jackson.
And again, that is, Pierce Jackson is left on an island right there as he's coming around on that little wing, sweep, if you want to call it that. The cornerback is not in a good position to be able to help out, so he has to be able to make that play.
This time the handoff goes to James Davis, and Davis bullies his way across the 40 down to the 38. There is a flag on the play at the end of the play right there.
That way right there where Dylan Williams played that was perfect. He came up, he recognized where it was, he didn't come up the field, and as it got strung out, he was sitting there waiting for it.
Still no signal by the official. Official takes a timeout for an injured player. It looks like one of the Bearcats is down. Is that Davis? I think that is. That's James Davis, and that would be a big blow. The penalty is going to be against Loyola. I didn't actually see what they signaled.
5 plus a face mask call.
Face mask is going to be the call against the Flyers. So 15-yard penalty. That hurts, but losing James Davis would also be a big hurt for. Ooh, and he looks very.
Like a cramp.
Yeah, maybe it's just a cramp. You hope, if you're a Bearcat fan, that's all it is. And we hope James Davis is okay over there.
But again, these last two Bossier drives have been aided by 15-yard penalties by the Flyer defense.
So first down from the Flyer 23 now. Just getting the 4th quarter started here. Flyers lead at 28-21, but the Bearcats knocking on the door. Coleman Beeson keeps it. He looks downfield and nearly has another one picked off. That time it was Pierce Jackson who got there and nearly picked it off for the Flyers. So
I really love the way that Dylan Williams just played that right there. If he comes up and presses, he's going to have himself a lot of trouble with the receiver getting behind him. So he backs up, the receiver makes his move. He's right there with him. So that play was really designed to kind of get outside and, again, looking to go deep.
handoff goes to Cameron Richardson, and Richardson running hard, and he's finally brought down to at the 3-yard line of the Flyers. So Richardson, not to be denied on that carry, gets it down to the 3 where the Bearcats will now have it 1st and goal.
And the Flyers defense played that well. They strung it out. Jackson was there, really to make the play. He just missed the tackle, and you could see what happens after that.
Davis back in there for the Bearcats, and he's going to take the carry, and he is going to get into the end zone. Touchdown, Bossier.
James Davis for a 3-yard touchdown.
Now the Bearcats are an extra point away from tying it back up.
These have been long drives that have left the Flyer defense on the field for a long period of time. So that last offensive possession by Loyola, which was very short, did not give the defense much time to rest.
Well, you can tell, I mean, in all honesty, it's really going to be up. It probably is going to be up to the Flyer offense to stay. They're one possession ahead, so to speak, right now. They're going to get the ball back with a chance to take the lead again. The Lopez pick is good to tie it up.
Extra is good. 10:37.
So the Flyer offense really needs to answer the bell right here and put points back on the board to stay one step ahead of the Bearcats.
Other scores: Evangel 43, Northwood 7 in the third quarter.
These, as you correctly mentioned, the type of offense that Bossier employs. Part of why you play an offense like that is because you want to wear the defense down, control the ball, and in the fourth quarter, for them, they consider that their winning time. You've worn the defense down, and then all of a sudden now you start busting big plays. And the Flyer defense is going to have to be up to that task, but the Flyer offense is going to have to score points here.
Yeah, you said it perfectly. You know, it's
Cedar
their
Creek
turn
21,
to rise
St.
to the
Frederick
occasion.
7.
You know, I mean,
Fourth quarter.
Bossier, I don't think panicked being down 14 points. You know, one bit. They knew that they have a big play offense, and you know, they can get 14 points in no time whatsoever. So we have 10 minutes and 37 seconds left in this game. I mean, it is a huge amount of time, and the Flyers offense, you know, it'd be nice to see them get a sustained drive here and give the defense a rest.
How about a big kickoff return from one of the Taylors here, John?
Of course, that'd be nice too.
St. Fleur, this is Lopez that's going to kick now. Interesting. Lopez is going to kick it to the up man. That's Luke Hamiter, and Hamiter is going to get it across the 35 down to the 40-yard line. So great job that time by Luke Hamiter getting it up to the Flyer 40. So the Flyers will have pretty good field position right there. We'll have it first and 10.
Return 20 yards to
from the
40-yard line. First and 10 Flyers.
Nice job by Luke Hamiter advancing that ball up, and he gave the kicker a little bit to think about at the end of that play too.
Goes without saying, a very important possession for Jacob Lafitte and the Flyer offense right here. And Reese Ebar just goes down right there. It looks like he slipped. Nobody even hit him. I think he just caught a patch of slick turf right there, John, and went down. He looks like he's kind of limping back to the hut. I hope that he's still not feeling the effects of the injury that he sustained earlier in the football game.
I agree.
2nd and 10. They're going to give it right back to him. And once again, he's going to be brought down at the line of scrimmage. So those big holes that we saw earlier in the football game are not there. And Ebarb's hasn't been nearly as effective as a runner in his last 3 or 4 carries.
Yeah, and the linebackers are coming up and trying to fill the hole and trying to hit Reese at the line of scrimmage, whereas they were taking that shot on 2 or 3 yards down past the line of scrimmage. They're coming up and trying to meet him.
So Lafitte probably going to have to put this one in the air, and that's exactly what's going to happen. He looks downfield and passes incomplete that time. He wanted Chase Jackson.
For Chase Jackson.
But Jackson just not
4th
quite
down.
tall enough to get that one. So at a moment when the Flyer offense really needed to move the ball and put some points on the board, they go 3 and out. Coach Jeter looks like he was a little bit perturbed with something that Lafitte did right there as he came over and
I'm not
had
sure
a quick word
if
with him.
Jacob was looking at the flag route that was run, and maybe there was something up underneath that he should have been looking for. But
Monsieur Kick's going to take an awesome Flyer bounce. Wow, the Bearcat. That's
That's a 50-yard punt.
James
to the 10-yard
Davis's
line, no return.
lack of making a fair catch there just cost the Bearcats big time yardage, John.
But that really hasn't been an issue for Bossier.
No.
I mean, that's those yards I don't think scare them one bit. And the Flyer defense, has been out there a long time. So, a lot has been asked of the Flyer defense, and Bossier presents a really unique situation that they haven't faced in weeks before. So, Bossier's been very effective with their offense. They've gotten what they really wanted out of their offense, and the Flyers have got to rise to the occasion.
So the Flyer defense back on the field after another short rest. James Davis in motion, but they're going to hand it off inside to Richardson. And Richardson is going to be brought down at the 13-yard line. Bodden gets him there after a gain of 3. That'll be second and 7.
Second down 7.
James Davis again on the carry, and Davis is met by about half the Flyer defense at the 14-yard line. Birch was there first, and it'll be maybe a gain of 1, setting up a 3rd and 6. So, John,
That was a great play designed by Bossier right there. They split out 2 people.
14,
Had Davis on the backside on the
at
wing
the
position
14.
and basically running that wing sweep with 2 people out in front of him. Ian Birch made an outstanding play from the linebacker position to get out there, because if he does not get out there, then he's able to turn it up and actually get some yards.
big 3rd down right here. Flyers need to get off the field. 3rd and 6. Bossier needs the 20. 7:32 left in the football game. Tie score, 28-28. And Cameron Richardson is doing his thing. He'll take it all the way up to the 31-yard line. That'll be a Bearcat 1st down.
Robinson carries Hammeter
And a gain of 17.
and Jackson in on the stop. Gain of 16.
That's
First down at the 30.
So the Flyer defense with a wonderful opportunity to get off the field right there.
It was, and I think that was Jonathan Durrell, I believe. No, it wasn't Durrell. It looked like maybe it was Jack Bodden that maybe got up there and just missed a tackle. I mean, he was that close to getting off the field.
The handoff again to Cameron
Robinson.
Richardson. Flyers
Bodden makes the tackle.
bring him down, but not before a gain of 8.
You can just
Make
see
it second
Gain
and
of
2.
8. 2nd and 2.
You can see the stress that Bossier's offense puts on a defense. I mean, they've got blockers out there, and they've got speed with everybody that handles the football. And so, and when they turn it up into those holes, I mean, they can really accelerate. So, like we talked about, you have to be very disciplined, and you got to meet them you cannot let them get upfield.
When Cameron Richardson, if you can't tell from up here, he goes 6'3" and weighs a little over 200 pounds. So he's like a young Henry for Tennessee, probably what he would have looked like back as a high school running back before his days at Alabama, and then with the Tennessee Titans. Tall and lanky, but he's got wheels and he can break tackles. First down on that carry for the Bearcats. And right now, John, the Flyers are in dangerous territory because the Bearcats are equipped not only to potentially go down and score, but to hang on to the ball and not leave the Flyers any time left either.
You're exactly right, David.
That time the Flyer defense does a great job on Rico St. Fleur. He'll get back to the line of scrimmage, but that's it. Make it 2nd and 10.
St. Fleur carries Key. And
Michael
Williams
Key was there first for the
No
Flyers.
gain on the play. 2nd and 10.
Again, that play right there, Jack Bodden did a great job of coming in and kind of sealing that up. That's what you got to forget about everything that's happened prior to the play that's coming up right now. You still got to stay disciplined, make your reads, and meet the person in the hole.
2nd and 10. Richardson on the carry. Richardson is hit at the line of scrimmage, and the Flyers are going to get him down that time. Great job by the Flyer defense. Richardson
Williams
gets up to the 45. It's only a gain of about 1. That's going to make it 3rd and 9. So the Flyer defense once again with a 3rd and long and a chance to get off the field here. 4:52 left on the clock. The Flyer defense must make a stop here, John.
It is, and I go back to how important the cornerback play is against the run defense right there. That play is made by Dylan Williams. Imagine this play is probably going to try to come out wide or going up against Neo Brock again. There it is, wide again.
That's James Davis on the carry. James Davis, he's brought down that time. Great open field tackle.
Number 27, Pierce.
That's Pierce Jackson, who came flying up from his safety position and tackled James Davis in the open field, which is no easy task, John.
I just want to make a point about what you're seeing right there. Pierce Jackson is in open space. He has to make that tackle, and that is hard to do. You are the only one that is in that space to make that play. He misses that tackle, it may be a touchdown, and that is a great individual play.
St. Fleur back to punt. Now, it's worth noting St. Fleur is also a running back, John. So they can't fall asleep on a fake, and it looks like he actually maybe thought about it.
I think he did.
But he ends up kicking it, and it rolls out of bounds at the 31-yard line of the Flyers. So once again, the Flyer offense will have an opportunity to put some points on the board. The Flyer defense does their job.
That's exactly right, David. I mean, the Flyer offense, as they go to take the field right here, ought to look over at the defense and say thank you.
Our reminder next week,
they did their job.
They've got to do something with it. 3:41 left in the football game, and much like the Bearcats' opportunity of a minute ago, the Flyers now have their own opportunity to hang on to this ball, go down and score. All they need is a field goal and not leave any time left on the clock. Reese Ebarb on the carry. Reese Ebarb running hard that time. There's Reese Ebarb down to the 40-yard line. Gain of 9.
Tackled by Avery Williams.
But that's what's happened. I mean, Bossier, like, all good teams, they're walking their safeties up. They've got 8 in the box to try to stop Reese Ebarb. And for him to find any hole is really, impressive on his part and the offensive line's part.
Reese Ebarb hovering around the 170-yard mark at this point. Taylor in motion. And again, the handoff goes to Ebarb, and Ebarb hard running across midfield. He just won't go down, John. First down for the Flyers.
Flyers at the 49, a gain of 11.
Gain of 11.
Great call, and again, they used Taylor to motion to kind of confuse Bossier's defense and giving Reese Ebarb that little opening that he needed.
Clock moves, 2:53 left in the football game, tie score. Lafitte's going to throw, and that pass is incomplete, intended for A.J. Taylor.
For A.J. Taylor.
Make it 2nd and 10.
that's a tough one right there. I mean, they've got that opening because they've been walking the safeties up, but that's a tough situation to be in, 1st and 10, where Ebarb's been able to provide you some quality yards on 1st down.
Now we've got an empty backfield. That pass is complete. Trey Taylor down to the to the Bossier 37.
I have to commend Jacob Lafitte right there. My goodness, he had to stay into the last second and took a shot to get that pass completed, and he really delivered a strike to Trey Taylor.
He sure did. In the NFL, that probably draws a flag. We're not in the NFL here. 2:39 left here in the football game. Flyers on the move. 1st and 10 from the Bossier 37.
And it looks like they're checking on Jacob after that as well.
And to the point where Michael Key's now in the game at quarterback. Key's going to keep it. Key's got a little room around the right. Key, nice run, Michael Key, down to the 12. Now they're going to mark him at the 13. So great run there. 26 yards on the carry for Michael Key.
Telling you what, if I'm Michael Key after this game, I'm going over to Reese Ebarb and say, man, I love running behind you, and I would tap every one of my offensive linemen. Every time he runs that quarterback keep, it is really blocked very well.
Now the Flyers need to shift gears here, John. They shouldn't be in a hurry. They want to leave as little time on the clock as they can. They put some points up here. Reese Ebarb, that's Michael Key. Michael Key, touchdown Flyers! 14 yards, and just like that, with 1:58 left in the football game, the Flyers take a 6-point lead, 34-28.
So now we just talked about how the offense should have tipped their hat to the defense. Now it's the defense's turn to tip their hat to the offense. And think about that drive. Think about what Jacob Lafitte did in that drive. Think about what Reese Ebarb. Think about what Michael Key just did.
And think about the fact that Michael Key probably wouldn't have even been in the game if not for the hit on Lafitte that forced him to come out and have him looked at there. Extra point's good by Mansour. So 7 points is your lead. 1:58 left. And let's see what Art Carmody has to say on the sideline.
Flyers go 69 yards in 6 plays. Drive took 143 with a Michael Key 13-yard touchdown run. Once again, we'll have a post-game performance by the Bossier High Band. Post-game performance by the band from Bossier High.
All right, John, Flyer defense, who got off the field last time, has got to do it one more time. 1:58 left in the game. Flyers lead it by 7, 35-28. Starts here with good special teams kick coverage. And that ball is going to be fielded at the 29-yard line, and the Flyers do a great job. They bring the returner down at the 39. I believe that was Jakari Ambler-Williams on the return, but
Tanner on the return, stopped by Birch.
That's that's a call right there.
It was a 10-yard return to the 39.
It's another directional squib right at somebody that just happened to hop up for the, one of the upbacks, and he was able to advance it up. He actually had a pretty good wedge in the middle, and thankfully the Flyer kickoff team shut it down.
The crowd showing as much life as they have shown all night here in Messmer Stadium, making some noise for their Flyer defense. Coleman Beeson looks to throw, and that pass is complete to Otis Smith. Smith will have it out to the 45. It'll be a gain of 6 before Pierce Jackson brings him down.
Pass is complete to Smith.
2nd and 4 now for the Bearcats. 1:30 left in the football game, and the Bearcats probably need to pick up the pace if they want to score.
Yeah, but I really, they know that they have home run potential. So, I don't know that they're in too big a hurry.
Beeson again looks to throw. He throws to James Davis this time. Davis across midfield to the 49. That'll be good for a first down, gain of 6. And the Bearcats are going to take a timeout with 1:10 left here in the football game.
And that's again, that's smart football right there. They're taking the Flyer defense is giving them, and really, they've done a very good job of just picking the Flyers secondary apart with relatively simple throws. There haven't really been throws that the quarterback has had to make that really, have been challenged. He hasn't really thrown into double coverage. Everything has really been kind of open to him. So right there where they kind of spread the offense out, obvious pass situation, it makes a very simple little easy throw.
Thanks to the 100 Club tailgate sponsors, the Birch and Drake families. We appreciate your support of Flyer football. 1st and 10, Bossier at the Loyola 49.
Well, John, this game's been everything we expected it would be and then some. We knew these two 5-1 teams were going to lay it all out there in a game that will go a long way towards deciding the District 1-3A champion, and we've gotten everything we thought. 1st and 10 from the 49. Bearcats. Pass is complete that time to Mekhi Tanner, and Tanner takes it to the 45. It'll be a gain of about 5, maybe call it 4. Make it 2nd and 6.
I believe that was Luke Hammer that maybe just blew up that play. He really did a nice job.
Really don't think the Bearcats can afford to huddle anymore, John. 40 seconds left now. They're just taking way too much time.
He came off the sideline. So I'm not sure that should be a flag. He came off the
sideline. It's going to be a lateral. He's going to put it in the air. See if the Flyers can pick it up. And did he catch it? Did he catch it? Yes, he did. That's Dylan Williams with a big game-ending interception. And the Flyers, with 29 seconds left, are going to win this football game with a couple of kneel downs. Wow, John, what a way to end it, huh?
Wow. Richardson with the pass. Intercepted by Dylan Williams.
I just want to make a comment about how well this game has been played by both teams. You said it a couple of minutes ago. This is everything that we expected. And I mean, credit Bossier. They have got some athletes, and they've got a good scheme. That is a good football team.
Yes,
and for the Flyers to rise to the occasion and match them touchdown for touchdown really says a lot about this team.
Lafitte takes a knee.
So Jacob Lafitte takes a knee, and that ought to be enough to wind it down. Michael Concilio could call a timeout if he wanted to, but he's just going to let this thing wind down. And John, the Loyola Flyers at 6-1 and 2-0 in District 1-3A are your district leaders right now. Huge, huge win over the Bossier Bearcats.
I just want people to understand how competitive this district is.
We're going to be right back. We're going to be gone for about 30 seconds. We'll come right back to wrap it up. You've been watching Flyer football on LCP TV.
Mesmer Stadium. Good night,
So
everybody.
welcome back to Mesmer Stadium. Final score here, a big, big win for the Flyers, 35-28 over the Bossier Bearcats. John, you can't say enough about Reese Ebarb, number one. You know, I'm not sure what he ended up with, but it was somewhere north of 170 yards. Gutsy, hard, running all night. You can't say enough about the Flyer defense, especially there at the end of the game with a couple of really big stops in a row after it looked like the Bearcat offense was going to be pretty much unstoppable the rest of the way. The Flyers have to feel just, you know, exhilarated by a win like this. But you know what? It's only 1 week, and I guarantee you over there in that huddle right now, Coach Jeter's telling this team, enjoy it tonight. Because next week you got the big, bad North Webster boys coming here to Mesmer Stadium. And tonight this game was for first place. Next week it's really for first place because both teams are going to come in here undefeated in district play. Bossier gave North Webster all they wanted to. Coming into the season, I don't think anybody would have thought that. Coming into the season, I don't think many of the so-called experts gave the Flyers a chance to beat North Webster out for first place in district either. I believe the Flyers were picked fourth in the district, if I remember correctly. North Webster picked first. So, John, what do you think in terms of moving into the North Webster game now that you've seen the Flyers with probably their most complete game against the best team they've beaten on the season? What do you think about that North Webster game coming up next week?
Well, what we learned tonight is, I mean, and is a credit to every kid on this team. I mean, we called so many kids names tonight that contributed in a large way to this win. And you know, I go back to what we were saying before. This district is murderer's row. Every team in this district, I really believe, going into the season, could be district champions, and I could see every one of them beating each other up too, you know. And so to have two quality wins, Green Oaks, the win last week was hard fought and it was close, and this week hard fought and close. So it is, and that is a credit to both of the schools that we just played. But the credit really goes across the board to the Loyola players. I mean, the offensive line, unbelievable job tonight. The defensive front seven and what they had to do, the secondary being put out in isolation tonight. I mean, there were so many elements to this that, you know, everybody had to pull their weight, because that is one heck of a football team that Bossier has. And you know, like you said, this is a very quality win. The Green Oaks game was a quality win. This is a really quality win, and I am incredibly enthused for the kids. You know, to be 2-0 in district, you know, I don't know that I would have expected us to be here, but this is, you know, where we are.
Well, it just sets up one more super exciting game for us and our fans next week here at Mesmer Stadium. North Webster coming in here with District 1-3A likely on the line. We'll have it all for you starting at 6:45, kickoff at 7, right here on LCP TV. For our producers, Simon Hyde, our cameraman, Julia Smith and Jesse Beinog, our man on the sideline, Art Carmody, John Carmody here with me in the booth. I'm David Winkler. It's been my pleasure. It's been our pleasure to bring you this exciting football game tonight. Once again, your final score from Mesmer, Loyola 35, Bossier 28. See you next week here on LCP TV. Have a good night, everybody.